One concept I think students struggle with when they start out in debate is what to do in rebuttals. So a lot of rebuttals end up just kind of repeating the arguments that they made earlier in a debate. And there's not really much development or conclusion to the debate. And so this video is to help you sort of figure out what to do in rebuttals in order to help you win debates. So you can think about it, how to win the debate in rebuttals. So in a nutshell, remember, the point of a debate is to maximize your point of offense. So, like, what's the reason that your side is good? What's the reason that their side is bad? Like, whatever you think the most important thing is, maximize that and to try to minimize whatever reason that they would say they should win is. So, in the context of a debate about healthcare, someone might say the affirmative, like the best argument is just it's good to give people healthcare. There's a lot of preventable diseases. People die. That's unethical. But someone in a debate about healthcare against that might say, the economic reasoning behind that is really bad. It would collapse the economy. We just couldn't afford it. And that is the most important reason to debate. Both are very good. How should you resolve those things? That's what the judge has to do. And so you want to make arguments to help the judge see the debate in your side. So you want to sort of write the ballot for them, explain why your point of offense is most important. And so to do that, first thing you have to do is you have to make choices. And that means you need to narrow the debate down. So in the healthcare example, I had one argument. But if you think back earlier, so in the very beginning of the debate, we looked at this example of flowing in one of our previous videos, and in that video, we gave an example of like arguing with your parents about whether or not you wanted to get a dog, and the reason that you cited was love, like you really love a dog. And your parents made three arguments. They said that, you don't have the time for a dog, they don't have the money for a dog, and that it's too much of a responsibility. So in a debate, you want to make choices as the debate goes on, and you want to narrow the debate down to just your best point or your best argument. And so at a certain point, you need to kind of choose and say, okay, well, maybe you're making some good points about probably having enough time for a dog, but I think the money argument is sort of our best argument, or, the responsibility one is our best argument. And I'm going to explain why that is the most important argument in the debate from that point on. So whatever the point might be, you need to pick one, and then you need to sort of make the debate about that issue and decide and explain why that is the most important issue in the debate. So you need to make choices. Then you need to resolve arguments. And so you can't just restate your point. You can't just restate your point about whatever it is that you should win the debate. You also have to respond to the arguments that your opponent has made, and you need to kind of give a bigger picture analysis of this. So in the start of this lecture, I gave the example of healthcare. The affirmative might say it's moral to give everyone healthcare. There's a lot of sick people. People die. They die from treatable diseases. That's bad. And the negative has made the argument, that would be really bad for the economy to pay for healthcare for everyone. The affirmative might say it's more important to focus on people's lives than the economy, or at least in the economic numbers, and then cite some arguments for that. But they might also say that if people were healthy, they might be more productive in the economy in the long term. So our argument should be privileged over theirs, because not only is it more important in terms of who it helps, but also has the capacity to fix their problem in the long term. So that helps the judge resolve that debate, because it gives the judge a metric to say, not only is this argument more important, but it may also have implications for your own point about the economic effects of healthcare. And so that's sort of resolving arguments. It's answering outstanding points and explaining why your point is right, even in the face of those things. The last one is judge instruction. And so judge instruction is a complicated thing because it's not something that you do in a lot of other activities where somebody's like literally judging you right there and going to give you feedback. But essentially, like, judging is hard because your judges are trying to figure out the debate, and they want to make a good decision, and they want to be able to sound smart when they give their decision and feel comfortable with it. But they have to figure out from you all arguing what the best point is in the debate. And so you kind of want to instruct the judge on what that is. So in the context of the healthcare debate, the first part of judge instruction is controlling the grounds of the debate. So in this case, the grounds of the healthcare debate is about the difference between, kind of the moral imperative to help people that are sick, which is why we should give healthcare to everyone, and the, governing imperative or economic imperative to, like keep the government solvent or to not weaken economic growth, because there are also economic benefits to help people as well, both systems that could help people, which one is more important. And so you want to instruct the judge that the grounds that you have presented for the judge to decide are more important. So the judge should decide to focus on the quality of life and helping, improve people's lives now versus some economic effects that might happen in the future. Because quality of life is more important for these reasons, and that's why you should view it in this way. Or, if you're having a debate about, say, civil liberties versus national security, talking about something like surveillance or privacy or something, you might also, in that one, you need to really control the grounds of the debate. We should focus on rights, and those are more important than a risk of some lost lives. Or you'd really want to focus on security risks, and the loss of life are more important than rights, because rights can always be given back, but you can never recover if you die. Something like that. That would control the grounds of the debate. Another way to provide judge instruction is to just do impact comparison. So remember, we talked about a metaphor for debate is like a scale, and on one side you have like the reasons that your case is good and that your side is good, and on this side you have the reasons that your side is not so good. So, if the resolution were like, we should feed someone, like I should go to dinner, and I'm going to go eat at McDonald's because it's delicious and it's cheap. And so I have, McDonald's is good, the food is good, and it's cheap. But maybe you have an argument that, well, McDonald's is really unhealthy. It might make you, obese, and that might cause health problems. There's one argument that you can make, and maybe another one is that you'd be like, McDonald's is, it treats its workers poorly, or it's unethical, and so you shouldn't support that, or, maybe you have some variety of attacks there or something, some reason why you don't like McDonald's. You want to do impact comparison. So, for me, I'd be like, my hunger is more important than this, corporation of McDonald's that is going to serve billions of dollars of food that doesn't really matter if I eat there or not. So it's not really that relevant to your consideration or something. So that you can sort of make those arguments out that obesity and your health is more important, and where you get your food is more important than when you eat or what your food is. And so you need to make sure you're eating really healthy, and maybe you could win that impact is more important or whatever. And then the last type of comparison is just judge instruction about evidence. So, we talked about doing evidence comparison, why you're more qualified, a better source, better evidence, just sort of makes a better argument. Well, you should make the judge, sort of talk to the judge about that. We know we've won that our evidence on this issue is better. Our evidence about national security and its importance is better than theirs. And here's why that should influence your decision in these ways. So if you can control the grounds of the debate, so this is the most important issue, and this is why the judge should see that as the most important issue. That you can control the impact of the debate, why your position has the most important impact, like the best benefit or the biggest consequence, or theirs is bad for, not very good. And then you can also control the evidence, that you are presenting better evidence on the issue. If you can control all of those, you're really instructing the judge to be able to say, I voted for you because I thought this issue was most important and that you were winning that issue. And I thought that the impact to your case was important, given that you've described it in this way. And I really was compelled by the evidence that you presented. It was good. I thought it was qualified. You made some comparisons. And so by doing all of that in a rebuttal, even though you are restating your argument, because you need to re-explain your initial point, the vast majority of it should be focused on resolving arguments, making sure that point stands in light of everything that's been said, and explaining why, given what you've won, that should be the reason you win the debate. And so, if you focus on that, if you look back at this lecture series, we really talked about how to start debates and come up with some arguments, develop them, and now we've really thought about in the rebuttal, this is where we want to get to. We want to be able to say the points that we have made are most important, and here's why, because our points are most important, they should win us the debate.